I appreciate your patience. This bill was changed utterly and completely by an amendment. Originally, it increased punishments that I and many others believe fell short in our law, but the amendment actually weakened our laws below the level they're currently at. Members, it's not often I say we should be increasing any penalties. Texas is tough on most offenses, and the bipartisan effort I've supported in criminal justice reform is usually to scale back punishments that are too harsh for the crime. What this bill addressed is different. The crimes it covers are so horrific, they deserve a more appropriate penalty. Representative Laubenberg talked about the case in Wiley. Late last year, we heard stories of a puppy doused in accelerant, set on fire, and burned to death. Or a dog that was tied to a truck, dragged behind it until its skin was torn off to the muscle. I could go on. Animals are being tortured and killed every month all across the state. We've seen recent cases of dogs tied up and stabbed to death, cats impaled and burned in a cemetery in bizarre rituals, animals shot and bludgeoned and even chemically burned. There's even a sick market that's developed for so-called crush videos, a kind of pornography where animals are tortured and killed for sexual gratification. The largest animal cruelty case came from our state, came from the city of Arlington. 26,000 animals were seized from a warehouse in the largest, they were taken after a court found that thousands of animals were kept there without food or water, many in makeshift containers such as bags and soda bottles. It was so bad that starving animals were eating each other, and many were found barely alive with limbs chewed off. Dead animals were disposed of like trash, and the sick or injured were intentionally frozen to death in freezers. That's the kind of thing this bill was meant to address. It isn't right to slap these people on the wrist, especially when we know from countless studies and FBI data how closely this is linked to serious crimes against people. Serial killers and violent sexual predators frequently start on animals. That's something my team and I kept in mind throughout countless hours over the entire session. We had lots of discussions with experts and people in animal-related industries who had legitimate concerns, and we worked in good faith to refine the bill until we developed a consensus. It was crafted in a thoughtful way by authorities in criminal law. Yesterday, not only did we completely gut the bill, but we actually rolled back the existing laws so that the bill weakens our current penalties in this area. I honestly don't think that happened on purpose, but that's what happens when you draft an amendment in 1 minute on the floor. I get it. Some of you wish our abortion laws were different, but my bill has nothing to do with that. And if you want to pursue this line in the sand you're drawing, we're looking at an endless parade of absurd results. What other crimes have to be dropped below a state jail felony, now that that's the benchmark of our criminal justice punishment? I think law enforcement professionals and crime victims and the crime victims they fight for will have problems with those bills. What was done to this bill is disgraceful. Real policy was sacrificed for meaningless political posturing, and it hurt a lot of people who've been asking for justice. With that, since the bill now does exactly the opposite of what I filed it for and has been injected with an unrelated but highly politicized issue, I'm going to ask this body for permission to pull it down.